Right here, down. Protect your out. We put the work in. Let's finish. Come on, man. Let's do this. Family, I'll do 1, 2, 3.
You see, we dream chase, cause that's all we was given to start with. Then we realized the dream was obtainable. Now look at us.
What's going on, Eagles Nation and TMTP family? Welcome back to another episode here on the Main Thing Podcast Presents. It's your bull, Mr. Owens. And after further review, the call stands. I'm still official with no stripes. Family, thank you again for tapping back in with the Main Thing Podcast Presents, your number one source for real Philadelphia Eagles football talk, breakdowns, reactions, community vibes, and keeping everything the main thing way. Tonight, though, we got a full midweek update, all right? Everything from injury news, coaching notes, roster moves, offensive and defensive breakdowns, player performance trends, and a heartfelt section on Zach Ertz and what he meant to the city of Philadelphia. So grab your hard hats, grab your shovel, because y'all know this is going to be a deep one, all right? But before we get into that, thank you to our loyal supporters. Y'all know it's all love. The Main Thing Podcast Presents can't happen without the support from y'all. And to our new supporters, welcome to the community and our family. Let's continue to do our part for the community and our family. Please continue to like the video. It does help with the visibility in the algorithm. Disrespect that comment section. Share and subscribe to the community and our content. And last but not least, don't forget to do this. Make sure to turn on a notice and keep your ears and eyes peeled to the streets like your local neighborhood watch. Wow. So you don't miss when me and Big Hus drop this pressure on y'all. So look, let's get right into this mid-week video. All right. So where do we stand? What is the state of our Philadelphia Eagles family? Our Philadelphia Eagles sit at 8-5, still holding on to that number one spot, like that old Luda song back in the early 2000s. All right. In the NFC East. That is crazy enough. After a 3-game losing streak to the Cowboys, the Bears, and the Chargers on Monday Night Football, and all that inconsistent play that we have been having, we're still somehow controlling the division. And what that means, it speaks two things into existence, all right? The talent on this roster is phenomenal, and Howie Roseman does not get enough credit and kudos for constructing the roster from top to bottom with all pros, future Hall of Famers, and of course, Super Bowl champions. But also what it says is that it's still some work left to be done, as we all know. This week has been big for accountability, a word that I truly love, all right? The coaches, the players, the front office staff, everybody had to look themselves in the mirror after the past few weeks, like that famous Michael Jackson song, all right? But the message remains the same. Nobody's panicking and nobody is running from the noise. If you listen to the local Philadelphia media, if you listen to the national media, you would think that the world is on fire and that the Eagles are about to go through another 2023 collapse. But look, Nick Sirianni doubled down on the confidence in his players, and even head man Jeffrey Lurie expressed full faith in the offense that things will turn around. Now, those two, if they're not panicking, we as fans shouldn't be panicking. And here at the Main Thing Podcast Presents, we are definitely not panicking and ringing an alarm. like Beyonce. All right. The tone in the building is simple. All right. Fix it, finish strong, get healthy, and go win the East. But we have bigger dreams and loftier goals than just winning the East, but it starts one brick at a time. So we have a crucial final few games coming up. We have the Raiders, the Commanders, the Bills, and then the Commanders. We have to go into the playoffs hot, but we have to take care and control what we can control and take it one game at a time. So now let's dive into the offense. All right, let's break down what's been going on offensively, because we all know that the talent is here, okay? But the consistency is what has been lacking on that side of the football. QB1, as we stand right now, so far in the season, he has 2,700 plus yards, but he knows that he has to tighten up. All right. Some of the decision making that he's been making has been costing us a few ball games. He hasn't been the best this season. And we know that the turnovers have been the story the past few weeks. Okay. Not the ability of this football team, not the talent of this football team, and definitely and certainly not the leadership of this football team. Okay. What I'm mentioning is we're talking about footwork, timing, the chemistry with his receivers, and just trusting what he sees on the football field. All right. But then also we've had reports about QB1 possibly being benched and should be benched from crazy fans and media alike. And y'all already know here on the Main Thing Podcast presents, we stand and back QB1. He is the franchise quarterback here. He is the engine to this team's success. All right. But Nick Sirianni shut the door on any benching talk, as he should. He didn't even entertain it. He didn't blink. He didn't hesitate. He said QB1 is the guy, and rightfully so. He is, look, a one-time Super Bowl champion, one-time Super Bowl MVP, has led the Philadelphia Eagles to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. All right. And we're talking about benching him. I don't care how old you are, how long you've been a Philadelphia Eagles fan. There's never been a Philadelphia Eagles quarterback in history that has led this team to 2 Super Bowls like QB1 has. So let's calm down. Let's pump the brakes. We all know when QB1 is fully locked in, the sky's the limit. But look, let's be easy, be light, okay? I know it's a frustrating season so far, but we are still in control of our own destiny. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Now, Saquon Barkley, say 2K, he continues to look explosive, especially after people said, oh, well, he lost his vision. He lost his explosiveness. He can't see the hole. We need to put Tank Bigsby in over Saquon Barkley. A lot of pooey that's been going on. But we all know when the Eagles actually commit to the run, things do open up, okay? But too often, and specifically with our offensive coaching staff, the team abandons the ground game and puts too much weight on QB1's shoulders to play hero ball. And that's not what we need. We all know Philadelphia is built by running the football and playing great defense. So we have to establish the run game and get back to the basics and the fundamentals. So this week, we're probably going to expect a heavy dosage of Saquon Barkley. We're going to establish control, establish the line of scrimmage, and set that tempo, okay? Arthur Juan K and Devontae Slim Reaper Smith. Arthur Juan K has been quieter these past few weeks, especially after that talk with Jeffrey Lurie. And we all know that the offense has not been in rhythm, has not been in sync. The timing, the spacing, everything has been going on. But we all know that we need Arthur Juan K fully engaged and locked in, because when he's firing on all cylinders, we know that the Philadelphia Eagles are a very, very hard team to beat. But Smitty, on the other hand, he has been Himothy. Okay, he's been smooth, precise, and reliable in the pass game. He has been quietly putting up big yardage numbers, and this could be a career year for Devontae Slim Reaper Smith. Also, Dallas Goedert, we need to start factoring him into the offense, working the middle of the field with Dallas Goedert, because we know when Goddard is healthy, he is a top 5 talent at the tight end position. But all too well, we abandon Dallas Goedert because we do have a lot of mouths to feed on that side of the football. But I'm tired of just seeing Dallas Goedert being used with the RPO and then him getting hit in the flats. Let's exploit the mismatches that Dallas Goedert does present to the defenses that we do play. Kevin Patullo has to do a better job of scheming his best players open and getting his best players the football. Okay, now this is where we're going to get real. All right, the offensive line. We all know that the offensive line is banged up. Lane Johnson has been dealing with his foot issue. Landon Dickerson has been in and out of the lineup, and that affects everything on offense, especially when you have to mismatch pieces. It works. I mean, it messes up the timing. It messes up the rhythm. But we do have Jeff Stoutland handling the offensive line. So whenever Jeff Stoutland is handling it, we should be okay. All right. It's no panic. But when it's all that shuffling, as I alluded to before, what is affected is the run game, the RPO game, the deep concepts, protection. All of it is affected because we all know it starts at the line of scrimmage and it starts in the trenches, and the offensive line has not gelled yet this season. But look, we still got a few games left, and we all know when they gel, that will help the offense grow, especially with the healthy Landon Dickerson, with the healthy Lane Johnson. We can get back to the ball and brand that we know our Philadelphia Eagles can be. All right, so now let's dive into this full injury report from Tuesday and Wednesday. Lane Johnson, as I just mentioned, he did not participate because of his foot injury. Hopefully, he is back sooner rather than later. And I did notice that we didn't put Lane Johnson on IR, which would have meant that he would have automatically missed the next 4 games. So there is optimism that he will be back sooner rather than later. Maybe not for the Raiders game, but we can probably see Lane Johnson maybe against those Washington Commanders. Landon Dickerson, he was limited with his calf injury, but that is probably just maintenance and trying to get him through the week and getting healthy enough to Sunday versus the Raiders. So you already know how the Eagles do with injuries. We always take precautionary measures. Jalen Breadman Carter, he did not participate because he had shoulder surgery on both shoulders, but he's looking on track to maybe come back against the Commanders or even the Buffalo Bills, but that is something that we have to continue monitoring. One great thing is Zach Bond. He was a full participant. Also, Charlie Hewlett, his practice window was open, and our 6th round pick from this past draft, Cam Williams, his practice window was open. So what does this all mean for the injury front? Okay, Hewlett coming back helps special teams and snapping consistency. I saw a stat where when Charlie Hewlett snaps, Jake Elliott has not missed any field goals, and we went undefeated in those games. When Cal Adamides snapped, Jake Elliott has missed, I want to say 5 field goals, and then I believe we're like 3-5 in the games that Cal Adamides was the snapper. Now, I don't know if Charlie Hewlett is the good luck charm, but hopefully he is to get Jake Elliott back on track. We all know the snap to the holder and the kick, that all works in unison. So let's hope that having Charlie Hewlett back gets Jake Elliott back on the right side of making field goals. All right. But we all know with Zach Bond being back, him and Nakobe Dean have been a force in the middle, reading and reacting, see ball, get ball, have been making plays all season. I'm proud that we have those 2 stalwarts in the middle of our defense and leading that unit. Okay. Now we all know with Jalen Breadman Carter being out, that hurts us a lot. Okay. But what the Eagles will do is rely heavily on Jordan Davis, who has been making himself a presence and himself known in his fifth-year extension. We need to pay that man soon because he definitely is a cog in the middle and a foundational piece that we can work around on that side of the football. But also Moro Jomo has been getting more snaps because Jalen Carter has been out. We also see Byron Young, who had a fabulous game versus the Los Angeles Chargers, get some more playing time because of this situation. Also, we had a sighting from Ty Rob, Manila Gorilla out there getting some snaps because of this situation, but also collectively the defensive line as a whole with Jalix Hunt, with Jalen Phillips, with BG, with everybody, Nolan Smith, everybody on that D line has to play as one because we see once we get the pressure, it's the sky's the limit, man. Clint Hurt has done a fabulous job with that group look, early in the season, we knew we weren't getting no pressure. We were getting some pressure, but not getting home and getting sacks. Now with this new revamped defensive line, man, we've been sacking the quarterback like nobody's business. I just want to see them continue to use these building blocks and to continue to get better and better week in and week out. All right. So speaking of the D line, let's get into that side of the football because that is the unit that has actually been keeping our Philadelphia Eagles in ball games in this 2025 NFL season. Okay. We do need some more discipline in the pass rush lanes. Too many mobile quarterbacks have been escaping for chunk yards. We just saw it as recent Monday night versus the Chargers. Justin Herbert, I think, gouged just for about 66 yards. We do a great job of keeping them contained in the pocket, but we also have to do a better job of keeping contained and also being honorable in our rush lanes. Don't rush past the quarterback because when you rush past the quarterback steps up into the pocket and is able to escape. When we get to that quarterback, we have to make sure that we get them down. You don't want to work that hard and get to the quarterback and not sack the quarterback, okay? But our defensive line overall has been doing a phenomenal job these past few weeks. As I mentioned, Nakobe Dean and Zach Bond have been balling out of their mind. That rotation has worked fabulously. Even if Jahad Campbell has been getting less snaps, we see that the linebackers are physical, fast, and reactive to the football. Now, in the secondary, we all know Quintana Mobay, cool. Reed Blankenship and Dory Jackson have continued to bring that high energy. Okay, but we also have to focus on improving our tackling, okay, especially in the open field. I've noticed offenses, they're nervous to run up the middle, but when they get to that outside, they do have some success in the run game. We just have to be more disciplined, get back to the basics, get back to the fundamentals, and work on tackling because this is going to be big, especially in this time of the year. But this week's focus has been communication. Communication on defense is the number one responsibility. Understanding where your help is going to be, understanding and knowing where your teammates are going to be. You have to communicate on that side of the football. We got to limit misalignments, stay assignment sound, okay? Because me and Big Huss will have our Raiders preview come out on Saturday, but the Raiders like to use a lot of motion, and blown coverage is how you get beat in the NFL, okay? But now, for a little more somber news, I want to do a heartfelt Zach Ertz tribute. Family, let's slow it down for a minute. Zach Ertz was one of the greatest Eagles to ever put on a uniform, okay? He unfortunately suffered a torn ACL last week, and depending on rehab and his age, being 35 or 36, if I'm not mistaken, in the opportunity, this can be a career-ending injury for Zach Ertz. And this hits deep, all right, because Ertz ain't just a former player. He's family here in Philadelphia, okay? He was a second round pick out of Stanford who grew into a franchise cornerstone. He helped bring us the first Super Bowl in Eagles history. If y'all don't know, he had that slant route that he bobbled and then dove into the end zone that got reviewed like 20, 50, 11 times, but ultimately was called a touchdown. He made clutch catch after clutch catch. He bled green for this city. He represented us on and off the field, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. The connection that he had with our former franchise quarterback, with Carson Wentz, the leadership in the locker room, the community work with his wife, Julie Ertz, the way he always said how much he loved Philly. Man, that's stuff that you just don't replace. And to Zach, from all of Eagles Nation and everyone watching this video and the Main Thing Podcast Presents, thank you so much. Thank you for all that you did, Zach Ertz. Your legacy will forever be remembered here in Philadelphia and with the Philadelphia Eagles for everything, for every catch that you made for us, every block, every moment, every piece of your heart you gave us. You'll forever be an Eagle, regardless of what helmet you finished your career under. All right. Look, family, please do us a favor and drop a heart in the comment section for Zach Ertz, letting the world know that this fan base appreciates him, and not only this fan base in this city, but the Main Thing Podcast Presents appreciates him. But look, family, that was your midweek breakdown. We had the injury reports, the roster moves, the coaching updates, offensive and defensive analysis, and our heartfelt tribute to Zach Ertz. I hope that you all have been having a blessed week and that you all are getting ready for this weekend's game versus the Raiders. Remember to keep God first and focus on your plan and not your move. Be that inspiration, not only for yourself, but for others. But before I get out of here, you already know I got to talk to our supporters and our family. To our loyal supporters, thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all know it's all love. The Main Thing Podcast Presents can't happen without the support from y'all. And to our new supporters, welcome to the community and our family. Let's continue to do our part for the community and our family. Please continue to like the videos. It does help with the visibility in the algorithm. Disrespect that comment section. Share and subscribe to the community and our content. And it sounds so nice, we had to say it twice. Make sure you turn on that notification bell, also known as that Liberty Bell looking thingy, so you don't miss when Swoop comes out with the Eagles news and updates. But if you don't know who I am, I'll kindly remind you. I'll go by Mr. Owns, and this is the Main Thing Podcast Presents, where we keep the main thing the main thing. Y'all already know it's fly, Eagles fly, go birds. Continue to tap in, continue to lock in. Be on the lookout for Big Huss end of the week video tomorrow and our preview video for the Raiders on Saturday. Y'all already know it's always love. And look, we'll see you next time.
It was I was gonna make a lot of money doing what I wanted to do. I went after it, and it was a struggle to achieve it. But you know what? I caught that bitch. Dream chasing.